Good afternoon, race fans. Hello and welcome into episode number 87. 87 right here, live and direct. Not live, but we're on demand on RaceON.com like we are week in and week out. And happy to be here to talk a lot about motorsports that's happened locally, regionally, and nationally all around the great state of Texas, live on RaceON and beyond, and so many other places that happened this past week into the final month of May, as we just put Memorial Day weekend into the books, of course, last weekend. And hey, dirt track racing and motorsports as a whole just keeps on ticking. It's kind of what we talked about last week after the unfortunate tragic passing of Kyle Busch. This is what motorsports does. We just keep rolling, right? So we're at the halfway point of 2026 and episode 87 here, right here on Clark After Dark, after what was an exciting weekend here in the Ark-La-Tex region with the Comp Cam Super Dirt Series All-American Late Model Series, both at Texarkana and Ark-La-Tex this weekend. Big money on the line with the World of Outlaws late models this past weekend at Mansfield Speedway up in Ohio, and their highly anticipated return. More big money on the line this weekend with the 32nd annual Dirt Late Model Dream at the Big E in Rossburg, Ohio. That begins Wednesday night with the Flow Racing Night in America warm-up. Danny Hamlin won a thriller at Nashville Super Speedway with the NASCAR Cup Series on Sunday night at about 11:30 p.m. That was on Prime, of course. And everybody on social media, this is just my intro tonight, but it's either the old heads are upset because it's on Prime and all the other ones are loving it because the broadcast is actually really good and they don't mind paying the extra, $17.99 a month. But anyway, some controversy, as Slim Shady would say, Kennedale Speedway Park. That's where it happened at, and we might get into a little bit of what happened over there at the KSP with all parties involved over there. It was a total shitstorm on the social medias, but you'll get that in big-time automobile racing, as my man Cortland Smith would say, and no better time to bring him on now, because we got a lot to get to and a whole lot of mo. It's my man from Alexandria, Cortland Smith, fresh off a weekend slinging wrenches, and I don't know. You're going to tell us what was going on in the 14 camp with you this weekend at 67 and Ark-La-Tex Speedway with the 14M of Morgan Bagley.
Yeah, I got to go racing with my good pal, old buddy, old Bags this past weekend. Obviously worked for him there for almost 2 years there, and just glad to go racing with your friends, right? Like at the end of the day, that's all. I mean, like that's one of my best friends, old Scotty P over there, Big Dad, the whole 14M camp. Like those are all some of my closest people. We talk every week, right? So, I was just happy to go racing with them. Got to go hang out. 67 maybe didn't turn out like we wanted to. Broke on lap 2. Blew a MSD box went out on us there. So just a little bad luck circumstance. I watched I made the joke with somebody. They said, how was 67 last night? I said, I don't know. I watched a total of 12 laps last night. I watched qualifying, a heat race, and 2 laps in a feature. That's all I watched all night long was 12 laps because, when I'm over there helping, that's like, you go to the trailer, you work on stuff, and then you go back and forth, and that's like all I watched. And then got to Ark-La-Tex, didn't have the hottest start to the night, but Bags does what Bags does, right? You get them in the feature race, and sadly it went caution free. It was a complete 180 from 67, where we had a caution like every 4 laps in the late model feature at 67, and Ark-La-Tex went caution free, and I think he went like 24th up to right there around 10th, 12th, somewhere in there. So passed some cars there, and so I had fun, man. I got to go sling some wrenches like the good old days. We're still in the good old days, my friend. Racing is still live, and we're still doing good. But I did have fun going racing with my buddy, man. There's I get just as nervous, I get just as worked up like when I'm going racing with him than I do if I was racing. Like, I'm just as nervous. I'm sitting there thinking of everything I've done that far that day. Like, did I do it right? Did I do this? Did I do that? And then you hope it all pays off at the end. So I had a great time, man. It wasn't necessarily the weekends we wanted, but it was still, at the end of the day, you're at a racetrack, you're with your best friends. And then even if you're not with the best friends in your pit area, you got all your friends in the world in the pit area that you go hang out with all day long. But I got a pretty solid sunburn. It was hot this weekend, Zach Clark. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. But your boy it's on the back of my neck right here. I was washing tires Saturday at about 10 o'clock in the morning. They got a nice little wash pad over there at the Vivian Speed Plant. And I was washing some tires, and I come back about 1 and I realized my neck is hot, boy. And my whole top of my ears and my neck got sunburned. It was a hot one this past weekend. I will say that.
It was, man. It was extremely humid. We'll get into more of 67 and Ark-La-Tex here in a minute. But it was super humid. And I haven't been in the racetrack like that, or to the racetrack, and in the elements. Yes, when I go and I'm announcing, yes, I get out and I try to mingle with the crowd before I'm usually, up there in the booth calling the action, doing the play-by-play. But I do, but but saying that, this was really the first hot weekend of the year, right? Like we've really,
Yeah.
I know we've had a lot of rainouts, but really, man, for the most part, being at the track this year, the weather's been really, really good. Like we were in the first part of May and we were in that, in this mid 70s. Like you can't really ask for much better than that, honestly. Like we've done pretty good. This was the first real test of what you're made of this weekend. So
yeah.
Again, this is episode number 87. Again, we'll get into more Ark-La-Tex and Texarkana here in just a moment. This being episode number 87, so we'll hit our 87s this week. How about Kyle Busch debuting in the NASCAR Busch Series? Of course, now the O'Reilly Series, formerly Xfinity, and when he drove in it was the NASCAR Busch Series. That was in May of 2003 for a Chevrolet for Nimco Motorsports. Kyle Busch finished second in his debut in the NASCAR Busch Series in May of 2003. And he went on, of course, we talked about this last week, went on to win 2 Cup Series titles, 234 career NASCAR wins, 1 Xfinity title in 2009, 2 Cup titles. And I'm sure that he would have went back and tried to get that Truck Series championship if that's something that he would have liked to have done there at the tail end of his career. But again, those 234 NASCAR overall wins will never be broken, and I feel firm in saying that. NASCAR Hall of Famer Buck Baker won 26 Cup races driving a number 87 from 1953 to 1964. And I got one more. How about my man C-Dub, the Robolene Rocket, Caleb Dillard, picking up a win on Saturday night? Dude, his first win in like 3 years for old Caleb Dillard, driving the Lloyd Racing family number 87 down at Thunder Valley, and Thunder Valley Speedway's return in Glenmore, Louisiana. Man, great to see TVS back racing. And it's good to see Caleb Dillard, man. C-Dub got him a dub in a number 87 car this last weekend. And, man, I think you were going to mention it, and I have to mention it because it was my boy, and I love him to death, and I miss him. And I miss him so much. I know you were going to mention him, but I have to because I love him so much, and I miss him. Rest in peace to my boy, Billy Marvin. Billy Melton Jr. drove a number 10 car, and he drove a number 87 to quite a few victories when he was in that Big Chief racing chassis back in the day. And he had quite a few other 87 cars that he wheeled in modified ranks throughout the years. But, man, Billy Melton Jr., what an absolute stud he was on and off the racetrack. I miss him so much.
Yeah, I got to know Billy there kind of towards the end, and of course, being around Bags last couple of years, you get all the Billy Melton stories, right? So he was an absolute legend, and the dude was a racer. So yeah, you got to mention Billy Melton when we talk about 87. My first 87 for the night. Obviously, we talked about him a good bit last episode. Aaron Reitzel out of Clute, Texas, 11 wins so far on the year for the man, and he is currently leading the high limit points. So Aaron Reitzel, that's your little sprint car national tour flavor. And I got an 87. I thought of one as a sleeper here while you were doing your 87s. I had to go through and I had to make sure I had my numbers right. The old Schwartz car, Mr. Trey Schwartz in the 87. Gregory Muirhead raced it at the 30,000. Yeah. But the old Schwartz fellas out there, they got them white, black, red neon orange number cars, really clean cars. They come to Boot Hill a couple times so far this year, and then Muirhead raced one of the cars over there for the 30,000. So we'll give a shout out to the Schwartz gang, really clean cars. And Trey Schwartz drove it earlier this year at Boot Hill, and then Gregory Muirhead raced it at 30,000 in the factory stock. So that's my 87s. Obviously, you got to mention the man Billy Melton, Aaron Reitzel, leader in the high limit points, and then the old Schwartz, Trey Schwartz in the 87, and then obviously Gregory Muirhead raced at 30,000, my friend.
I'm pretty sure that I told you earlier this year when that 98 car Richie Schwartz out of Dallas, Texas rolled through the pits. You mentioned Trey, but I said that Richie Schwartz car, speaking of those Schwartz cars, was the best looking factory stock I've seen this year. That thing is just, he even looked good without a top on it. Like I don't know what they've done or who did the body on that thing, but shout out to whoever did the body and everything on that unit because it looks really, really, really good. And also, man, I got one more, and I don't know how I got out of here and not mention this one, but how about Papa Ray Ingalls, legend, on the Ark-La-Tex area racing scene, Mount Rushmore, if you will. Drove a number 87 there for many of years in his career, and then, of course, went to Lazy 8 there towards the latter part, and he won in a Lazy 8 when he was at the age of 73 years old back in the year 2002 at Boot Hill Speedway. Can you imagine winning in a super late? I know I've talked about this a lot in my career, but can you imagine Cortland Smith winning in a super late model? I know we don't know what 73 feels like, but hopefully one day we get there. Rest in peace, Papa Ray. Can you imagine on the old paperclip too, Boot Hill? Like that thing was long straightaways. It was stomp and steer, like you like to say. Could you imagine winning a super late at Boot Hill when it was in its prime, the 30th anniversary season? winning a freaking super late model race at 73 years old, and you held off Chad DuPont, Jody Prince, Lee Davis, and Ronnie Adams. Like, it's not like he just beat a field of 10. There was like 28 late models there that night, and a 73-year-old kicked their ass.
And I guarantee the steering components and all that wasn't the easiest thing to turn in the world neither. It was probably some hard fought laps about back there in that day and time. So yeah, I mean, that's absolutely crazy to even think about, right? You know, we talk about, I mean, it is a, you know, we've all seen the post. It's been a back couple weeks, but you know, our racers, athletes, yes, they are, because it takes a gruel mentally, physically, and everything else to be able to do that at that age is absolutely incredible. But that's why he's a legend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, we got a big weekend coming up for Boot Hill this weekend. We'll get into that more when we close this podcast out, but just didn't want to throw it out here right now while we do have some ears. Battle of the States featuring the American Racer Modified Series this weekend. Looking forward to that. It'll be live on RaceON as well as on racingdirt.com this weekend. So nobody around here is going to have to pick and choose where they should watch. You know, of course, it will be on RaceON. So I've had a few messages already this week about it. So that'll eliminate any confusion there. Man, 67 Speedway Friday night. She was apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur juiced up, was she not? I got there. My man Tim Crawley told me, he said, going for a track record. And I said, oh boy, Tim, which track record is like 13.8, I think. Like it's down there in the skibbies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was set by Shane Hebert 2 years ago. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that Shane Hebert holds the track record at Texarkana in a super late model. But nonetheless, I'll just dip into some of the results, and then you can kind of give me your take on it. Man, we had a photo finish in the factory stock feature. You guys probably saw the clip. It's out there on social media. I know I posted on Justin's deal. It grinds my gears. I hear it. And man, I thought I had the audio dialed in perfectly. Like if I'd have just came down one more notch on the actual receiver on my microphone box, we wouldn't have had any distortion. I tried to pull up the broadcast. Like Cody Wooten did a great job trying to be communicating with me to have the broadcast sounding good. And I thought I had it dialed in, and then I hear the clip and it sounds like I'm talking through a kazoo. And I'm telling you folks, nothing grinds my gears more. But anyway, nobody cares what I think. Anyway, so I'll have it better, more dialed in with Aerovision there. We had some moving parts, some things that were moved around, and I thought I had the audio dialed in exactly, but nobody cares except for me, like I said. So it doesn't take away from the phenomenal race that was on the racetrack. 36J nips Neil Kemp at the line. Neil Kemp set him up and man slid him on the final lap. Whitehead dove underneath him. They drag race back to the line. 36J beats him by half a cat's whisker, as DJ would say. Tupper served supper. Dillard thrilled in a less than memorable 30-lapper for the Comp Cam Super Dirt Series this week, which I would say that Saturday night at Ark-La-Tex, they bounced back. Like they really proved that what that series is made of. They went 40 laps caution-free. 30 laps on Friday night at Texarkana did not go as well. And again, you could chalk that up to maybe the racetrack being so juiced up. Again, Texarkana did have a lot of rain over the last couple of weeks. Just thankful we were able to race. Tanner Barnhart starts 14th and wins the Rush Truck Center's Open Wheel Modified main event. And, man, he had to work for it, right? Track was hammered down, and, man, Tanner's just really good in that kind of condition, and he did what he had to do to get the job done. Corey Howell rolls in late. Like, we were looking, I was up there in the press box, and there was 3 tuners that rolled in after the sunset. Like, there's a train going down 67, and there's a train of 3 race cars coming up on a big flatbed, rolls into the racetrack, and Corey Howell wins your tuner feature in his first career ever start at Texarkana. And James Caskey wins his 8th overall end of the year in the Sportster class on Friday night. That's my perspective on Texarkana. Yeah. I know you kind of spoke on the 14M and what happened there with the 14M camp. I don't know, like as far as Morgan's concerned in the 14M camp, like I know the results weren't what y'all hoped, but like assess the weekend maybe from your perspective. I know we kind of got into it, but like when I talked to you Saturday, I think the tires are kind of throwing y'all for a loop. And again, the Ark-La-Tex Speedway racing service is completely different. Like Morgan's had a lot of success on Ark-La-Tex Speedway in the past, but I think it's just totally different. Kind of tell me from y'all's perspective how it went this weekend.
Yeah, so 67, you go out there, hot lap pretty good, qualify top 4, start on the outside row of the heat race and win the heat race and have, I think us and Cade had the 2 fastest laps in all the heat races, right? So, you're feeling pretty sporty going into it, right? And you're feeling confident, and then like you said, you get 2 laps into it and something happens. But at 67, you weren't lying. Like I told Tim, like, she was Mach 1 is what I said. Like she was Mach 1 Air Force fighter, like get her on. Like it was he had her juiced up and a little choppy. And I think we all know Tim likes a cushion, but I don't think he wants it to be as choppy as it was, And then you get a couple modifieds there. They kind of dig some holes getting in the corners and different things. I don't know. It's funny to see all the different people for the reasons of holes. And I'm not going to elaborate too far. Like there's a million different reasons why a hole can show up. But I promise you, it's not because a wide tire late model showed up. I'm just going to leave it at that. But anyway, 67. It was 67. It was what it was. We got in that feature, and we end up, obviously breaking there. It was really good. I enjoyed watching the limited B mod race. Honestly, with Tupper and Jake Huckabee was running second, and Jake started moving around a little bit. And then I don't know if Tupper had somebody signal him. That was just the race before, so I know I got to go up there and watch it. And Huckabee was kind of running a different line than Tupper, and then they both kind of, it's one thing you say you don't like holes, but then holes create a little bit of catastrophe, right? Like you go in there and you hit the hole, you bottom out, and you shove, and then all of a sudden the dude's right there on you. So to each his own, right? And but for the 14M camp wise, you're sitting there rolling into the feature and you're feeling like hot to trot. Like we're on the front row. We've been in one of the fastest cars all night long. And then you never really get, like, we never really even got to see what we had in the gas tank, right? Like you can assess the 2-lap runs that we had, but that's not nothing, right? Like, I mean, heck, the first lap on a restart is just trying to get your wits about you. Then you can start clicking off and getting in a rhythm. And so I don't know. It is what it is. 67 was it was the 67 that we kind of know, right? Like we know to expect that Tim's going to have her wet. It was probably a little bit more rough than he wanted, but he doesn't mind a hole or two, I'm sure. But it just kind of was one of those nights that you're on the top of the mountain there for half the night, and then all of a sudden MSD box goes out and it kind of just takes all the wind out of your sails, right? Like you pull down in there, you're ripping the hood off, you're ripping the dash panel off, and you're looking, and it's just like nothing's broke, nothing's loose, nothing's falling off, but the MSD box isn't lighting up one bit. And it's like at that point, we ain't got a spare MSD box in the hot pit, fellas. So just call her off. I pushed him to the trailer under caution there. And that was the wrap on 67. But all in all, man, I want to give a shout out to everybody that showed up, because 67 did that. And that afternoon, there was we were watching a rain cloud come in, and old Doppler Donnie Peterson, he was over there. Y'all had a bet. I think you need to go get your money from him, because he said there was going to be a little shower coming.
Right. I told him I was going to bet him $100. Yeah, I'm finna text him right now. Doppler Don's getting a message right now.
Doppler Donnie Peterson's going to get a text message. But anyway, man, what a really good night they had at 67. I really do feel like, I mean, it was, how many cars were in the pit area? I got it pulled up right here. 125 cars in the pit area, 25 factory stocks, 15 limited, 16 modifieds, 24 Sportsters, 11 tuners, and 34 super late models, man. And I think that the rain maybe kind of helped that a little bit. Like the rain's kind of had everybody cooped up, and everybody was just really excited to go racing, right? So, super excited that 67 had a really good night, had a really good turnout. And like I said, from my perspective, 14M camp wise, we were one of the top, we were one of the top dogs there for half a night, but it don't mean nothing at the end of the night when you go to the pay window and it says a solid 22nd, right? So it is what it is there. But shout out to everybody that showed up to 67 and all the race fans and all, man. That place is just can pack it out on a Friday night. And I really do want to give a shout out to all the fans and all the drivers that showed up this weekend.
Absolutely. Ark-La-Tex Speedway on Saturday night, I had a 100. And by the way, I wasn't trying to paint you in a box there. Like, I'm glad you mentioned the stuff on Tupper and Jake. Like, you're more than welcome to speak on anything. I was just kind of interested in knowing, since you were at the track, I know you hadn't been able to go and be the right hand man. I know Scott Young's, kind of the main guy over there, but I know that they really appreciate whenever you do come. Like, I know that they, appreciate your insight and love you being there, man. You're part of the team. So 152 cars in the pits in Vivian on Saturday night, man. The track was really smooth. Like, I got up there, I watched a bunch of races, and man, it peeled up a little bit at the bottom of 3 and 4 after the super late model feature. But man, Ark-La-Tex was really good. Like, it really was. Like, and not to say that I went into it thinking that it wasn't going to be. It was just the first time that I've been there since the Solo 275 that I announced, I was up in the booth. So man, I'm gonna be honest, man, you get a completely different perspective. You get a whole different vantage point. And everything about being at a racetrack just as a fan. Like, yes, I was there. I did a couple things for RaceON, but honestly, like, I was there as a race fan this weekend. And, dude, it was a really solid night of racing. Jeff Lewis messaged me early Saturday morning and, some personal – and I knew I wanted to go support Jeff. So I went with the intention to just be a fan. And again, like I said, I enjoyed it so very much. I needed that night at the racetrack. I think, like I told you, like I was really excited coming just to kind of be a fan. And man, that night kind of reminded me on why I love this sport so much and all the people in it. You know, like the entire time I'm at the racetrack Saturday, no matter if I'm walking here or I'm going there, like I'm shaking hands, I'm talking to somebody. Like these are my people. Like I really do. I love this sport so much, and I love the people in it. Like I spent a little bit of time up there in the press box or in the suite with Haley and Miss Donna and Jeff Whitehead, and then I went down and I sat in the stands. I mic'd Sarah Whitehead up for the factory stock feature. So Neil kind of checked out in the factory stock A, and he was uncontested. So Sarah didn't get too animated in this one, but she still did really awesome. I thought it'd be cool to mic Sarah up. So I mic'd her up, and again, Neil just checked out, so it wasn't, we didn't get the greatest content out of it, but I think maybe we'll do it again in the future. And a couple of other notes that I have on Vivian while I'm talking about it. I was really proud to see Jared Wallace in the 54X have the run that he had. Like early on in the limited feature, he shot to the lead early, even when 69 was still on the racetrack, and showed speed the entire race. Jared Wallace earned that win on Saturday. It was great to see him back in victory lane. Again, Brandon Ball beating 97K Dillard in the heat race and then jumping out front the first part of the A had me fired up as well for the B17 camp. For him to have such a strong showing, first part of the A, I was fired up. I won a B-Ball's home racetracks too, right? He's won a Tootsie Smith Memorial there. He's had a lot of success in Vivian. He said his tires went away, but still cool to, seeing him run well despite not getting the final result that they wanted. I know Tiffany and their whole camp was fired up. And then Lolo, Logan Griffin had a really good run too in the limited. He came home second. So, and final thing, Carson Bradley has developed into a really, really good young race car driver. His brand new IRP race car was on point, and he had the B mods covered, and Tupper got second. So it's not like Bradley won. And listen, that's his fourth win in Vivian in the last year and a half. If that C88 car ever figures Boot Hill out, and not to say he hasn't, I just think he's got Ark-La-Tex a little bit more dialed right now. If he ever figures Boot Hill out the same fashion he has Vivian, look out. That CD8 car is coming for a lot of checkered flags. Seriously.
Dude, and no joke on that, because when they pulled in at Vivian, they kind of parked up like nose to nose to our rig, and I moved my truck out the way, and they got in there, and Carson and his dad, they both were like, "This thing's fast." Like confidence is in that C88 camp, and to go out on an Ark-La-Tex Speedway in the shape that it was, smooth, really slick, really technical, and outrun Tupper. We know that Tupper's kind of the standard around, and if you're going to beat somebody, that's who you want to beat in the B mod. And the run that Carson had, it was really, really good, and they are really confident in that C88 car right now. So watch out for that camp. Always want to give a shout out when we mention C88, how clean those race cars are. Like the dude has had three of the best looking B mods at the last three wraps he's done. Fire. So always got to give the shout out for the race car looking good, but the driver's doing good, program's running good. That C88 is really, really fast.
Yeah, he went from having a lime green block around the number to now a black block around the C88. Yeah, the Mac Tools by Bradley car is rocking and rolling. Hey, about this? No Sportster DQs this weekend. None at all. No Sportster DQs. No naughty list this week. You can ball that up and throw it into the trash can. So Neil Kip's factory stock winner Carson Bradley. K Dillard sweeps Comp Cam Super Dirt Series late model action. Big Red Jared Wallace wins your limited feature. Tyler Ellis wins another tuner race. Josh Warren won your Sportster feature, and Brentley Smith won the rookie Sportsters. So that's a WRAP on Ark-La-Tex.
I will say, limited mods. I'm not very happy with you, and I don't think a single late model driver was happy with you. Big Red, I'm glad you won. Logan, I'm glad you finished second. But I'm gonna tell you right now, the whole entire late model hot pit crews and everybody, we were held captive in the staging lane for 30 minutes. That's all I'm gonna say. Me and Stevie Norris, the Dirt Late Model Hall of Famer for Billy Moyer, the crew man for Billy Moyer, who Stevie's been around forever. All right, he sat over there, and every time the caution, he was on his four-wheeler. Every time the caution would come out, he just put his head down and shake his head. Just
they were on,
and I go, Stevie.
They were on 2 to go. Literally, I'm sorry, I mean to interrupt. Get back to Stevie. Yeah. I apologize. They were on 2 to go for 15 minutes. The caution kept coming out, and then he'd go back to 2 to go, and it'd be a green white checker. It's just throw the frickin' checkers.
I go, Stevie, what do you think about it? Because Steve Norris, he's got a story about anything, everything. The man's seen it, done it all. I mean, he's been with Billy for 40 years, I think. He's a Dirt Late Model Hall of Famer for a reason. I go, Stevie, what you think about it? And he goes, I've been here, done this before. He goes, it ain't nothing new. And he just sits there, and every time the caution come out, he'd shake his head. You know what
He's
I mean?
seen it
But
all.
he's seen it all. But I will say,
Yeah.
sitting there, you get to talk to different people. You know, I talked to Alvin Ball, Brandon's dad, and my boy Big A. He was fired up, man. He was happy for his son, and I know that Brandon Ball and that whole camp, man, they have worked really, really hard and haven't had the greatest of luck. And that run this past weekend, I know was kind of like that little staple, like, dude, I you know, you can do this. Not that he ever doubted himself or anything, but just the bad luck and everything that happens, man. This racing ain't easy, and sometimes you need a run like that. Even though the feature didn't go as well, he did something that a lot of people haven't been able to do this year at a comp cams race, and that's outrun the 97 in a heat race. So you know, we just want to give a shout out to him, and me and old AB caught up for a good bit down there while we were held captive during the limited modified feature. But I will say Ark-La-Tex is different, and I got to talk to Stormy Scott was on the property at 67 and Ark-La-Tex, and we were parked beside Cade, and I heard Stormy, and I'm not going to, like, I wasn't like over there trying to snoop around and listen. I was actually building a racetrack for Caden Dillard, Cade's son. I built Bubs a racetrack with some electrical tape, and we were sitting there and we were talking, and you know, and Stormy mentioned something about like art, like the shape of Ark-La-Tex is different, and Rim Bud and them have put a lot of work into that place. They hauled a bunch of dirt.
Some of the top out.
It did. Yes. I was going to get there. Like Stormy even said, he goes, man, used to like it's thing, like you roll up to the top of the track and you look down and it would be about a car width or two of almost straight down. Like it was hard progressive banking, like straight up that you could just go up there. And we've all been there. We've seen it, right? Where you just ring the lip at Ark-La-Tex forever, you know, like that was kind of just always the tried and true line. And, you know, it's a little bit flatter. We talked to Rim. We pulled into Ark-La-Tex about 2:00, Saturday morning, 2 to 3 o'clock, whatever time that was. And Rim come by there and he was talking about it. But, you know, the track shape's a little bit different. It's still the famous, you know, circle backstretch where you can kind of really stay wide and it's a big circle, but, it's a lot different than what it used to be. Obviously they got different dirt on there. They got a different little water system there. You see bubbles, you know, my man ain't scared to throw some little soap on there. So it makes it a little technical, like when it's brown where you think it's hooked up, it's almost kind of like greasy, and you know, it's patchy, and I don't know, it's different. It's different from Ark-La-Tex. I ain't saying it's not what we don't need. But it is definitely a lot better than what we've had on it, right? Like it is definitely 10 times better than what it was. So shout out to them for what they're doing, man, and trying. And you know, what's it hurt to try something new? But the shape of it, I didn't go there last year, so maybe some of these changes happened last year. But it's definitely a lot different than the Ark-La-Tex of old. And maybe it's good, maybe it's different. You know, that place it raced really technical. Oh yeah, it's going to work. It raced good.
Yeah, it's still a work in progress. Like I talked to Rim around the concession stand Saturday night, and I just told him good job because I mean at that point the racing had all gone really smoothly, you know, and like, you know, as being a fan too the other night, I know we're always harping on time restraints and we need to be, you know, we need to do this or do that, but I will say Ark-La-Tex advertises hot laps at 7:00, and there were race cars on the racetrack at exactly 7:00 on Saturday. So like, when you have 152 cars in your pit area, it's going to take time to roll through a program. We've seen it at Boot Hill, right? Like we didn't want to be running at 3:30 in the morning at the 30K, but when you have almost 200 race cars in the pits, it takes time to run a racing program, you know. And again, we won't get into all of that right now, but they're doing a good job over there. They truly are. Like, and I think 152 cars showing up kind of proves that. And wish them all the luck going forward. And congratulations to all the winners in Vivian on Saturday night. Some other news and nuggets from the weekend. We'll get into this American Crate Late Model Series debacle here in just a moment, but just some other notes and nuggets that I saw this weekend. Matthew Day swept modified action between Hunt County on Friday night, which is just unsanctioned modified races on Friday, but he won the Touring Outlaw Modified Series feature action on Saturday night at RPM. He sweeps the weekend. Matthew Day's fast, man. Like that dude is fast everywhere he goes. It's not just Southern Oklahoma Speedway or Grayson County, or like that dude has speed everywhere he unloads. So keep your eyes on the 54X. He's going to win a lot more races this year going forward. And I think he's got a big one. I think he's going to win a big race. He might win that Brian Mize at Rocket. Who knows? Factory stock winners from this weekend. I compiled them all again. How about, like, let's just say if we took all these drivers and we put them in a show, we put them in a race, like a race of champions. This is just your winners in factory stocks on Saturday night, May the 30th. Kyle Blanton wins at RPM on Friday night. Tayton Perkins wins Thunder Valley. Phil Dixon wins factory stocks at Texana. By the way, he doubled up. He won the limited feature as well. Second time he's done that at Texana this year for the fast one. Phil Dixon. Zane Goff from Onalaska, Texas wins the factory stock feature at 105. Blaine Murphy wins at Heart of Texas on Friday night. Sadly, it's not on RaceON anymore, so you can't go back and watch it. Neil Kemp and the Club 20 car picked up the win, as we mentioned. Justin Whitehead picks up the win Friday night at Texarkana. Again, Kemp won Saturday at Ark-La-Tex. Yeah. Dylan Kowalik won in a brand new race car on Saturday night at Cotton Bowl. Dylan Gaither wins at I-37. Justin White wins at Grayson County. Brett McMillan wins at KSB, and Junior McCall wins at RPM. And you might say, Zach Clark, why are you just talking about factory stock drive? Why didn't you? Well, we'd be here all day if I told you every single winner from every single class. I'm just telling you that this factory stock class, no matter where it's at, what track it is, no matter where this in this general great state of Texas, Ark-La-Tex region, this class is tough no matter where it's at. And these, 11 different winners can win any given Saturday night, but I thought it was a pretty eclectic mix of winners this week, right? I love it. And one final other note before I throw it to you, Casey Burkham won your limited modified featured RPM over 27 cars. His last win was in a 360 sprint car, July 16th of 2022 at Route 66. I would love to see Casey Burkham race a little bit more often. He made a final lap pass to get that win on Saturday night at RPM. Super, super talented race car driver. I'd like to see him race these limiteds a little bit more often, maybe travel and race over here a little bit more, but a very versatile driver, man. Casey Burkham with the limited win at RPM. I don't know what to set you up with here, dude, but that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff right there. I just kind of got to, but man, a lot of cool factory winners. What you got?
No, I was just going to say, for the fact of we sit here and we talk about the rain and all, and this was one of the first weekends that we had so many of these winners, right? And you've you've compiled this list before, and or a couple episodes ago. And so it's cool when you throw out all these different names, and like you said, put them all out there in a race, and you really don't know. I mean, when you got guys like Phil Dixon, Blaine Murphy, Zane Goff, I went ahead and wrote some of them down as you were going, just to kind of have the list for myself. Dylan Kowalik. I mean, it's such an eclectic mix, but every single guy has that little bit of their program that's yes, they can get it done, and each of them are different in their own ways. You couldn't match none of these up together, right? And it was really cool. Junior McCall picks up the win. Shout out to Seven Camp. The dude burned it down, and I think somebody was talking smack about him burning it down. But look, hey, I'm one that's here for the excitement. I want to see a feature winner get excited about winning, and he did a little burnout on the front stretch there. So shout out to him. Shout out to Thunder Valley Speedway. They opened back up for the first time in 3 years, man, and they had an opening night. They probably didn't have as many cars as they wanted to, but the grandstands was packed out. I think they had 50 to 60 cars. They had the Southern State mods there, but grandstands were packed out, man. A lot of positive notes are coming from that place. So it's nice to see, because honestly, that's the closest racetrack to me, and it's still 50 minutes from the house. And I was telling people, because when I showed up to 67, they're like, well, how was the drive? I'm like, it's 3 hours and 15 minutes. And they're like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, there's not a single racetrack close to Central Louisiana. It's an hour and 30 to Manny. It's an hour and 30 to Super B. It's 50 minutes to Thunder Valley. It's 2 hours to Boot Hill, 2.5 to Ark-La-Tex, and 3 hours and 15 to 67. So for somebody in Central Louisiana area, it's nice to have Thunder Valley open back up. It's nice to have you a destination to go on Saturday and watch dirt track racing that's within an hour of the house. So shout out to them for getting that going. It's going to be a progress. It's going to be a build up, and I hope they stick to it and stay true to it. So shout out to them for getting it done. Shout out to my boys 7 game Junior McCall. I still owe him a Dr. Pepper and a cheeseburger for showing up at the 30,000. But like you said, Zach, what an eclectic mix in this factory stock deal. You could throw any of them out there, and just the quality of cars. Not that nobody else in any of the other classes don't have great drivers.
Well, you blanked out there first. I thought I lost you. You only blinked out for literally 4 seconds, but it was just long enough for me to start talking to pick up from where you left off. But yeah, your internet.
No, we're good. I was wrapping up. I was just going to say, you said, what an eclectic mix of factory stock drivers we had, and how much racing we had across the great state of Texas, Ark-La-Tex, and all in between.
How about 2 racetracks returning this weekend? We always talk about all these racetracks going to the wayside. I saw a sad report today that Peoria, which is a staple on the UMP Summer Nationals Hill Tour over the last 30 years. They're going to host the Summer Nationals. I think they're done and throwing in the towel. Which I don't want to say that wording. I don't think anybody's throwing in the towel. It's just tough right now, man. But in a time that racetracks are going away, we had 2 of them revived this past weekend, right? Thunder Valley, like you mentioned, in Glenmore, Louisiana, came back. No, they didn't have necessarily 180 cars in the pits, but it's going to get better. It's going to grow, hopefully. And the new owners will see some fruits for their labor, because I promise you this stuff is not for the faint of heart, and they're putting in the work. I'd love to meet them. I'm not even sure who bought the place, but I'd love to talk to them. And if there's anything any of us can do to help them, I know you'd love to see that place have success. And of course, Mansfield Motor Speedway in Mansfield, Ohio, came back, and we'll get into that more. Hopefully we'll have some time to talk about that. But this Chase Hollins situation this past weekend at Kennedale, like, I guess we have to talk about it, right? Like, and everybody else has already beat the horse dead on this thing. And so there's nothing here, sadly, that you're probably not going to hear anything groundbreaking. You're not going to hear anything new here. So I guess people just want to hear us talk about it, I'm sure. But it stinks to high heaven, or it did. It stunk to high heaven. I don't know how it can anymore. I mean, they rectified it. They did the right thing. But anyway, Chase Hollins sweeps the American Crate Late Model Series action at both Hunt County on Friday night for the Jerry Ship Memorial. That was $2,500 for his credit. And then on Saturday night, $1,500. So a nice $4,000 weekend for the Success Mississippi driver. And instead of talking about his dominance this weekend, right? Instead of talking about Chase Hollins' dominance on the racetrack, we're here talking about what everybody else has been up in arms about since Saturday. And man, it's kind of sad, honestly. Like, if people cared as much about this situation as they did racing and shared and commented or had an opinion as they have about this, our sport would be a lot better well off. Just saying, like, people thrive on drama, and it really makes me sick. I'm going to be honest. Like, people, and I don't know who listens to this podcast, and people might judge me for this. Maybe I shouldn't say it. I blocked the Dirt Behind the Scenes page like 5 months ago. And you're going to say, well, why would you do that, Zach Clark, if you love dirt track races? Because I hate drama. I absolutely hate it. And if you eat that page up, then you probably like drama a little bit. And that's okay. Like, because I was in Vivian on Saturday night, not creating drama. I had my little Osmo camera down there. And after Chris Sawyer and Skeet Amison got to get on the racetrack, I thought, you know what? Let me go interview Skeet and interview Chris and just get a back and forth, what happened with their little deal. And Xander posts a little mashup of it. It's on social media. Everybody's happy. Everybody's good. All right. So I'm just saying, like, I'm not one that wants to create drama. I'm trying to tell the stories in racing, if you will. So it's like, don't come at me because, I'm just saying, like, I don't even know where I'm lost my mind right now. No, it's like, this whole thing just stinks to high heaven, right? Like, there's always two sides to everything, but it's like, I don't think a lot of people have been able to turn their bias off for 2 seconds and look at this thing for what it really is, right? Did this situation stink to high heavens? Yes. But rules are rules. Did Corey Neal Jr. get DQ'd for the same exact thing last year? Yes, he did. Did it suck and cause a stir at the time? Yes. Did they reverse course and give Corey Neal Jr. his win and payback? No, they did not. This whole ordeal has its certain set of circumstances that created a massive shitstorm between the series, the track, the driver, car owners, and the social media brigade. And this isn't targeted at Chase Hollins and his group of supporters. I'm sure they were upset and rightfully upset. But it's also disheartening to suffer a DQ. And again, it is. It's hard to suffer a DQ for something non-performance enhancing off the racetrack. But the amount of vitriol and crying I've seen over this, it's just ridiculous. Like, the rule may seem politically correct as well, but if you DQ Corey, then you have to DQ Chase, right? And some people will say, oh, the reversal didn't happen fast enough. Like, literally, there's people on social media still not happy with the American Crate Late Model Series because they didn't do it fast enough. It wasn't on their watch. It didn't happen on their time. And it's like, dude, they've received enough backlash. And how about it's none of your damn business? How about it? How about it's Chase Hollins' business and the series' business? All you other people that have an opinion on all this shit, it doesn't really matter what you think. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And like, you people don't make the decisions, and we certainly don't make decisions based off social media brigade's time clock or their expectations. I'm just saying, like, you can't be happy now that the DQ was reversed and the winnings paid, but you're still over here liking comments with, and people are saying this series is a joke and they're just mad. An out-of-towner came from Mississippi and came to Texas and took their lunch money. Can we just stop all that shit? Like, honestly, like, all you people that are making these comments, but that's the thing. It's like they rectified it, but all the people with the car, and again, I love you, Chase Hollins. We're buddies. Like, I talked to you at Mississippi. We're cool. And I'm not calling all your fans or anybody out, but it's like, okay, the situation was rectified, but everybody in your corner is still giving the series hell. Like, you got what you wanted, but it's still not good enough. Oh, they should have done it quicker. It's like, well, how about nobody wins here? Nobody's able to win. Your boy's rambling. I'm off the deep end, and I'm throwing it to my boy Cortland Smith to give us a little levity in this situation because I really don't care. I just went off for the fun of it. But congratulations to Chase Hollins for doing the damn thing.
Oh no, you said it best. At the end of the day, all these people that are fighting, Noel, I mean, I'm gonna put it like this: all these people that are in an uproar, it didn't matter if Chase Holland won or if Chase Holland finished 20th. They still had to wake up and go to their job Monday morning. So, like, does it really matter to be up in arms? And I know this, and this is gonna sound bad. And it's like no, I don't race no more. I'm not even gonna say I retired. I quit. I got to be good to retire. I wasn't good enough to retire, but I've stopped racing for the time being. And it's one of those deals of like, if that it was $1,500 to win, like it was $1,500. I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. There ain't many people in the world I know that wouldn't take $1,500. But the uproar that we have caused over a $1,500 to win feature, and I always compare this to the night I was at the Show Me 100 that 20 RT Ricky Thornton got DQ'd because the droop limiter broke, and he had a lead well beyond. It didn't matter if the droop limiter was there, like he was over the droop. All right. And it was like 1 or 2 inches over. And I saw them lose $50,000, and Burroughs and Thornton and all of them just took their DQ like champs and went back to the trailer on about their business. Like, and I always compare it to that. Like you take it, if a rule is a rule, whether you think it's dumb, right, stupid. The only thing I will say, if a track worker told them to go to the track, well, then you kind of get it creates this whole storm, right? Because that's the information I got. The track worker told them that they could go down there. So at that point, what is the series is kind of in a bind. What do you do? That there's a rule, but the track worker said this. What I hate is that we already got a kerfuffle enough about it, and now we go back and we change the ruling that we made because of all this backlash that we've called.
Cortland's
so
internet.
now we.
There he goes. You cut out again, but go ahead. You're okay. Go ahead.
Louise.
It's okay. Just kind of go back about 4 seconds, but you're fine.
Yeah. So now we got this kerfuffle because the series goes back and changes the call that they had already made and all this storm. I don't know, man. There's no right or wrong answer in this deal. Everybody's got their own opinion. Mine really does not matter, like I said, because at the end of the day, whether Chase Holland won or got DQ'd, I still got to go show up to work the next day. So, like, it really doesn't matter to me. But the whole catastrophe that we have in the social media uproar is just nonsense. Like, it is absolute nonsense that this many people.
It has gotten more shares and more interaction than any wins or anything else that we see. And that's the part that's just ridiculous. Like, if these people cared as much about this situation as they did our sport, we'd be in better hands.
Yeah. But you said it, and people feed off drama. They love drama. They love bringing out negativity and showing and proving that they know better and they're smarter and they wouldn't have done this and they're this, that, and the other. And it just, at the end of the day, you can't fix some people. You just got to learn to live with them. So I guess that's just in the day and time that we live in. You just got to learn to live with it.
When a touring series visits a racetrack, they have their own set of rules that they follow, and the track has their track rules, which everybody is supposed to follow. But it is upon the driver and the teams to know the rules of the series and the racetrack, right, Cortland? Like, most of which of all this stuff is common sense. Like, we've all been around this sport for long enough, and most people probably, let's be honest though, Cortland Smith, most people probably haven't looked or even thought to look at a rule book or a set of rules / procedures in years or ever. We've just assumed because it's all common sense, right? Hell, most people just follow what they learn on social media these days, right? I mean, really. Yeah. I mean, when's the last time you pulled up a rule book? Like, as a former driver, like, when's the last time you've thought, like, oh, it better behoove me to pull up these rules so I don't catch an unfortunate DQ? Like, with the shitstorm we've seen with Corey Neal and other drivers getting DQ'd, like Wayne Milton just got DQ'd at Hunt County a couple of Friday nights ago for this. Like, it was at a different racetrack, but I mean, under the same umbrella, because Donnie Ship runs Hunt County and he also runs the American Crate Late Model Series. Donnie's not just out to DQ people. Like, it's an unfortunate rule. Yeah, it kind of sucks. But another thing about this is, like, these racetracks are trying to run an efficient show, and as well as this series. I don't know the reason of the rule specifically. I'm sure Donnie has a reason for it. And the thing about it is a rule for a reason. Nobody, like, they don't owe you an explanation for the rule and the reason why. Like, you don't have to agree with it, but it's a rule for a reason. And I can appreciate the fact that they followed it, because, if they hadn't DQ'd him and it would have went around, Corey Neal Jr.'s family and all them people, I've already seen Corey Neal Sr. sharing stuff around from a race from Sabine last year. Like, everybody's on RaceON trying to pull up and double check to make sure people haven't been coming out for Victor Lane. Like, this has caused a massive shitstorm, like it's so back to people. We're trying to run a deal. Like, as an announcer, when I'm going down to do an interview, like, how many times I've been stopped and I'm trying to get down to the racetrack and there's a family of and I might be exaggerating a little bit here, but don't bring a family of 25 down. Like, try to be quick and respectful about it. Like, yes, that situation and your driver winning is important, and we want you to share that with them and enjoy it and get a picture. But like, we've got to be a little bit more quick about it. Like, it takes time to usher folks to and from the racetrack. And yes, for a series, it is a major liability if something happens. And yes, freak accidents have and do happen at racetracks. And sometimes the best way, Cortland, to eliminate the possibility of anything bad happening, you just don't let anyone on the racetrack at all, right? And like I said, as an announcer, I'm all about victory lane. It is my personal favorite part of the night is talking to the drivers. And Bubba and Rollo at Boot Hill will tell you that I'm a fan, or that I am a fan, or not a fan of not doing interviews, right? Like, no matter how many times a driver like Derek Grigsby has won at Boot Hill, he has earned that moment each individual time to get out there and soak it up and thank his sponsors, talk to whoever's announcing on the microphone, and thank the fans, and just soak it up and enjoy it for those few moments, right? I feel like when that moment is taken away, it's taken away from the fans and the overall show. Because after all, this is about the drivers and the race fans. At the end of the day, this is all unfortunate. And listen, hey, people are going to move on and they'll be over it and tomorrow, right? Like, you probably won't even see anything about it anymore on social media today. But my whole thing about it is, it's like, if you're on the side of the Mississippi crew and they've all had an opinion and now it's been rectified, but still people are in the comments like bashing the racetrack indirectly and stuff. And it's just like, man, you seriously can't win for losing. They did exactly what y'all were hoping would happen. They rectified it and we're still not happy. Oh, it wasn't on our timetable. It's like, oh, well, how about this? You can just kiss their ass. I mean, really, like, how about they could have just stood by the rule and said, you know what? We don't care what the track said, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? They took a couple of days to review it and they came out and they made their final decision. And their final decision is one that I can respect, right? And I'm sure that you can respect and everybody else can. And then the social media brigade will get over it and they'll live to fight another day and to fight another. They'll wake up tomorrow and find another thing to fight about. But that's all I got. And yeah. I don't know if you want to beat the horse dead anymore on this, because I doubt you do.
I'm done and over with it, bud, because like you said, ain't nobody going to see nothing about this after this week, because guess what? We're dreaming week, bud. It's the dirt late model dream. All right.
Before we
get there. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, because Mansfield, we talked about right. Mansfield. I want to get into Mansfield and then kind of dabble into the dream here in the last 15 minutes. So we have Friday night at Mansfield. Okay, Mansfield, Ohio returns to dirt track racing. The first time this place has really ran since they had that Eldora Million that EPJ won. I think you told me the other day Brandon Shepard won another one. Didn't pay $1 million, but it was a nice purse that Cody Sumner put together, your Gateway Dirt Nationals promoter up at the Dome. So Friday night, dude, was not good. It just wasn't, right? Like, everybody saw it. But in the midst of it all being not good, that place has a lot of local fan support. And evidently the Nis family, who were like philanthropists, and that's a tough word to say sometimes. Philanthropist. Philanthropist.
They're in the real estate world, I think, as I do believe.
Yeah. Anyway, he's got some jack. Okay, that's what we're trying to say. And well, he donated $88,000 to the winter share for Friday night's feature right before they went green. Like, literally, the drivers are in the cockpit ready to go in the stage lane, and they still don't know they're racing for $100,000 to win yet. They're rolling around the racetrack, and then like literally like 6 minutes before they go green, they're like, "Hey, by the way, we're running for $100,000 thanks to the Nis family tonight." And our boy Turbo, Tyler Erb, who scored his first ever win in a super late model down the road at Super B at Chatham, won his first ever limited modified race down the road at Boot Hill and Greenwood back in 2011. My man won the biggest race of his freaking career, $100,000. And the thing about it is, man, like, Turbo earned that win. You can say this or that about the track and the conditions, but man, Turbo did it, dude. Like, he won that race fair and square on Friday, because on Saturday night, I think he had the best race car again. I'm not taking anything away from Nick Hoffman, but dude, Turbo had speed all weekend around that top rope of Mansfield Raceway, and the one car was really, really impressive. I was super proud to see Turbo in victory lane there, winning the biggest one of his career. That eclipses his Silver Dollar Nationals. I think he had a $30,000 win, I think, at I-80 one year. So, man, it's good to see Turbo, and get two different drivers who have never won a 6-figure payday.
Yeah.
By the way, hey, say the word figure for me.
Figure.
Figure. Okay. That's how you pronounce it. That's all. All right, cool. That's all. I don't know if you, but yeah, so Saturday night, Nick Hoffman won, and I had to look at the points lead. Did he get the points lead back?
No,
But man, Nick Hoffman
32 has the points lead.
So evidently Mark Richards and the Rocket Gang and a lot of other folks got together and they made this racetrack. David Wells with Infinity, they made this racetrack the best that it could have been, right? Like they worked on it until 6 o'clock in the morning. They worked tirelessly on it, and it was night and day different. We had 3 different leaders, 4 different lead changes. Garrett Albertson led quite a few laps. This one paid $100,000 and $100,057 for the Blaster 57 with the World of Outlaws. Nick Hoffman gets the win, the biggest win of his career. And man, I love Nick's emotion in Victor Lane. Like he was emotional. He was on the verge of tears. And to see a driver as accomplished as he is having his breakout season like that, it was just really cool to see for Nick Hoffman. So again, congratulations to Turbo and Nick Hoffman getting 2 of the biggest wins of their career at Mansfield on Friday and Saturday night. What was your opinion on that whole deal?
Absolutely love the fact that Mansfield is back. A lot of people probably aren't happy about it after racing there this past weekend, but also, I mean, it's the first time that this national light has been on them, right? Like they went and had all the pressure in the world, and even cooler, like you said, the Nis family coming in there and making 2 races pay $100,000 to win. And most of the time, up until this part of the year, we don't have $100,000 winner until after the Dream. Well, we're rolling into the Dream, and 2 guys already have 6-figure paydays, so it is really puts a different dynamic to the sport. Rolling into the Dream, not saying these guys don't want to go win the Dirt Late Model Dream. It's another $100,000, but it's one of those deals of like Tyler Erb has already won $100,000 race this year, and it wasn't the Dirt Late Model Dream. It was at Mansfield Motor Speedway. Nick Hoffman's won $100,000 win race this year, and it creates more storylines. Not only do you get Mansfield coming back, but you got 2 guys that have never won this much money in a single night, and now that they've gone out there and done it. And I love the fact that like these guys are in the staging lane and they don't even know they're racing for $100,000. Like, and Turbo gets out in his his overalls with the little minions on it, and Turbo's victory lanes are one of the best. Just go ahead and put it out there.
What is this thing he does now? I like
look,
it.
I don't know. It might be some trend, but that's Turbo. That's Turbo, right? Like he gave a lovely interview before that Mansfield Motor Speedway put out there, like pre-race interview that he did. Like, I mean, like that's Turbo. Yeah. And the dude goes out there and wins $100,000 and didn't even know he was going to go win $100,000 that night. Like, and that's really, really cool. But I don't want to sleep on Garrett Albertson to go out there and lead the laps that he did on Saturday. Turbo's car was fast. He was fast both nights. And but Garrett Albertson had a really good run on Saturday, and that was kind of not going to be like his breakout win, but that was, I know, not that Nick Hoffman doesn't have fans, but I know that Garrett Albertson is a fan favorite no matter where he goes. And so for him to run as good, I know there was a lot of people probably cheering on the 58, but at the end of the day, that Nick Hoffman picks up $100,000 on Saturday, and probably is feeling, both him and Turbo have been really, really fast this year. This is probably one of the Turbo's more consistent years that he's ran all year. The dude's now 3rd in points behind Hoffman, Pierce, and then Turbo's 3rd in World of Outlaws points. So those are 2 guys that they already got 6-figure paydays. They already got to put some pretty good money this past couple of weeks. Like they're rolling into Eldora, guns a-blazing, confidence high. Keep your eye on both of them to go up there and maybe not necessarily spoil the party, but go be contenders this weekend at the Dream.
Man, Jonathan Davenport won the 2025 Dirt Late Model Dream, and he won it by over 10 seconds. Remember, Bobby Pierce rallied there late, and if he had had a late race caution, who knows, 32 could have been a different story. But, man, Jonathan Davenport is just the man to beat at Eldora, right? Despite 32's quickness and how successful he's been in recent memory, I think the 49 car, until he proves otherwise, right, until he just stops this consistent run of dominance that the 49 car's been on, I think it'd be hard-pressed to pick anybody but the 49, if we're just being honest. But I think Turbo being fresh off 100K, and like you said, Nick Hoffman, I think that it'll give these guys a newfound. I think that's going to give them some new juice going into this race. Like, can you imagine the weight kind of off your shoulders just to have that freedom of having that win, these pair of 100K wins this past week, going into race for another 100K? Like, I know their hunger is still there, but my goodness, like I would imagine that would that'd put an extra pep in their step. There's no doubt about it. Man, Nick Hoffman finished 3rd in this race last year, and after that big win, I just feel like it's his time, man. I think I said this earlier this year. I've been telling you, side conversations that we have. I feel like this is Nick Hoffman's time to shine, man. He got third in this race last year. If this thing slicks off and there's a bottom down there, which at that point he'll have to worry about Dale McDowell. But man, I think Nick Hoffman's going to win the Dirt Late Model Dream. I really do. He's rising at the right time. Give me Mason Ziegler to win a prelim as well on one of the 2 nights. I'm not sure which one, but give me Chalk Hill Express to get a win. And another thing about this race, man, I love the wraps and all for this event, right? It's one of my favorite things. I know last year for this deal, we shared some of the wraps on the podcast. But this all kicks off Wednesday night, man. And I'm excited tomorrow or tonight, the Flow Racing Night in America kicks off. So, dude, it's the Big E, man. It's 100K. It's the Dirt Late Model Dream. It is, there's nothing like the pageantry and the overall feel. Like you can even get the feel that you're looking for, having never been to Eldora through the broadcast. Like you can just feel the electricity in the air at the Big E, man. It is a truly, truly special place.
It is something truly special. And the fact that, not only do you get the dream, you get the World 100 there, right? But it is something like no other. They keep on talking about how seems to be growing record crowd each year. The dang 50-50 winner takes home like almost a 6-figure payday, right? Like the 50-50 winner leaves with 50 grand. You know what I mean? Like it's just everything about it. It's just that next level. And that's what Eldora Speedway has become, right? Is it just that next level place? They put the Dirt Million on, they put the Sprint Car Million on, like it's the Tony Stewart owns the place. I mean, it just everything about it just goes above and beyond. And when you roll into a weekend like this, like you said with Turbo and Nick Hoffman, kind of like the weight off their weight off their shoulders. Good Lord, I couldn't get that word out to save my life there. Got the weight off their shoulder. What's that? Oh,
Turbo in a rowdy
forever.
Busch. Dude, is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen?
That's
oh my
clean.
Goodness gracious. Dude, I hope it wins.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for Turbo now. I changed my mind.
Pulling for Turbo now.
I'm pulling. Yeah. I'm not paying. By the way, I wasn't pulling for Nick Hoffman. That was just my prediction. What's your prediction?
My prediction? Oh, I was gonna say give me this is what I got right here. I wrote this down. Out of the Dream in the World last year, these are your 5 guys that finished in the top 10 in all of them. The 49, the 32, Hoffman, Dale McDowell, 20 RT, and Sheppy. The guy with the best average finish is Nick Hoffman. He finished 3rd in both of them. Now, the 49 did win the Dream last year. He's on 3 in a row. Can he go 4 in a row? I don't know. The 20 RT won the world last year, so it's one of them deals of like I really don't know, but I'm with Nick Hoffman. I'm going to ride with Nick, but I will say Dale McDowell in June, the Dirt Late Model Dream, the 17M is a guy that just always seems to find speed. They haven't raced a whole lot. He wasn't very fast at Mansfield, but when the 17M unloads at Eldora, they have a different, they step up to a different level. Shane McDowell, I mean, like he's won it before, he won it in 2014, but it's just, I mean, the dude just,
right?
Huh?
He won it off of a DQ, right? Didn't he win the Dirt Late Model Dream?
He won the world. He won the world off of a DQ.
Sorry.
It was the world. Over Shannon Babb. It was light. Babb changed the motor and come up light, and Dale won the world. It was like early 2000s at some point. Yeah. But McDowell won the Dream in 2014, and the dude, I mean, you can go, the stats are absolutely crazy. He's started like 20 straight Dirt Late Model Dreams, no matter where he starts, whether it's up front or in the back. Like the dude is absolutely lights out at Eldora, and he can just drive around that place like no other. The Team Zero car still has speed. So I think Nick Hoffman, like I'm in between Hoffman and Dale McDowell. I'm not going to take the low hanging fruit. We know that the 49 is Eldora is the 49's house right now, and you are got to go in there and you got to outrun him. But don't be surprised either. The last guy that kind of owned Eldora, the 76 of Brandon Overton, he's shown more speed this year than he has the last couple years. They got more confidence. He finished 2nd on Friday at Mansfield Speedway, and I know he would love nothing more than to go back to Eldora after the last couple years. Not where necessarily people doubted him, but these drivers, they doubt themselves at some point, and they not saying he's in a slump, but he knows he hasn't been as good as he has been before. And don't be surprised that 76 rolls in there and does something crazy. Don't sleep on Josh Rice. He won a prelim last year. He's found some new speed in the camp. Josh Rice will be one to watch as well. Easily going to pick up a prelim win one night, I believe. But man, I really think it's wide open. I know it's 49's house, but I wouldn't be surprised if a Dale McDowell sneaks one off in there. I really wouldn't be surprised. I know he hadn't raced a whole lot, and Mansfield wasn't a good test, but man, Dale McDowell's just so good there.
Yeah, he's a sentimental favorite. I think you remember right after Bloomer died, and he went in there and he took the lead, and that whole fan base and everybody was rooting him on, like they were fist pumping for that 17M car, and unfortunately, just got stolen from late. You remember Dell almost won it, a few years ago. I think 2019, right? Him and Brandon Shepard had that photo finish at the line, and that was one of Dustin Jarrett's best ever calls, in my opinion. Like he did such a great call that to the line. Like it was a really good call by him. I'm just going to say that now. Big weekend coming up this weekend. So that's a wrap on the Dirt Late Model Dream. We'll look forward to watching that again. Kicks off on Wednesday night with Flow Racing Night in America. This weekend, though, man, we've got big weekend of action at Boot Hill Speedway, and I surely hope the weather works out because this is one that I've had circled all year long. It's Battle of the States featuring the American Racer Modified Series. Live on RaceON both nights, Friday and Saturday, with all of our weekly classes as well. I'm expecting a nice car count and great racing, right? Like Talon will be there, Chris, Dustin Hennigan. I'm really interested to see what the car count will be like for this. I mean, I know Big Daddy Joe Duvall will be here. The Williams twins, brothers, excuse me, not the twins. They race B mods. The other Williams, the one from Noah, Arkansas. But yeah, man, the ARM series coming to Boot Hill this weekend for a 2-night extravaganza for Battle of the States. That's it's gonna be good, dude. Damn it, this weather better work out. Like it looks good for Friday, and again, like these weather apps, like they'll just trick you all weekend to thinking you're gonna get rained out again, and then all of a sudden on the weekend it just clears up, and then but at that point it's already ruined all of your plans, or it's ruined people's prospects of coming. You know what I mean? Like it's a lose-lose situation for everybody involved when you're all just sitting here putting our fingers into these weather apps, but that's what we have to do. It's 2026. I don't know how really else the way to go about it.
Hey, I don't start studying too hard till Wednesday afternoon, because that's about the time I need to start prepping to leave anyways. It don't do no good to look Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. Like I start checking about Wednesday afternoon, just about because I know I'm gonna have to leave about Thursday afternoon, about 24-hour heads up. But yes, I'm really excited about these modifieds coming back to Boot Hill, right? They raced on Autism Awareness Night there. Dustin Hennigan already has a modified win at Boot Hill Speedway this year. But it'll be cool to see modifieds back at Boot Hill. They put on a heck of a show earlier this year, and like you said, interested to see who rolls in, right? Like I know Kel Murphy, he was up there at 67. I know he's one that he has Boot Hill circled on his map. I got to talk to Dougie and him a little bit at 67 pits, and they got this circled on their map. And a lot of modified guys around here, they get to go race at Boot Hill 2 times, right? You get to go 2-night show, you get a full show Friday, full show Saturday. You don't have all your eggs in one basket. If you unload Friday and you're not the greatest, well, guess what? You got a whole 24 hours to work on your program and get better for Saturday. So really hope it is a good turnout. Weather's weather. Don't worry about don't sweat it right now, Zach. You don't worry about the weather till we just get there. Okay. And then just, hey, as my boy Marco would say, let go and let God. All right. If the good Lord wants us to race, he'll let us race. So, but yes, I'm very excited to get back to Boot Hill and go watch some racing action at the Boot Hill Speedway with the modifieds. I think it's a complete show for factory stocks and limiteds both nights as well, Zach. I'm trying to pull the flyer up right now. I wasn't prepared for this, or I was prepared, but I want to make sure it's a complete show both nights for the limiteds and the factory stocks.
We're running 4 classes. That's my favorite part about this whole thing. Like I love it. 4 classes. That's perfect. It's gonna be legit. It's gonna be legit, man. I'm so excited. Final thing, man, before we get out of here. I know I mentioned a little bit earlier, and I know you guys have probably seen the post on social media today, and I'm just going to share something from the heart. One of my heroes growing up, Mr. Jeff Lewis, owner of JRP or Jeff's Racing Products. He's helped out so many different people, whether it be your rear ends, carburetors. There's just so many different list of things, or whether he was just there as a figure or somebody that you could talk to, or a man that you could lean on for advice or anything as far as racing. But if you got to know Jeff Lewis in any kind of fashion, you quickly learn of what a great human being he is. And he's been one of my heroes since I was a kid. I grew up watching him race and win and dominate races and hobby stocks, street stocks, drove for Shorty Phillips throughout the years. He texted me Saturday morning and said that tonight was going to be my last night. And he said he felt like he owed it to me to let me know because, I mean, Jeff was my neighbor growing up, right? Brittany and I, we grew up together, 3 houses down. That's his daughter, Blake. I've known his whole family for so long, and they're just great people. But Jeff's been battling with his health here over the last year or so, and he just doesn't feel that he can do it, to the same, ability that he used to. And so that was going to be his swan song, his last race the other night. And he was very, very emotional all night long. And so when I went over there and I interviewed him, I know some of you guys have probably seen his interview that's been on social media on RaceON. I really, at the time, wasn't really sure how to handle it. Like I wasn't emotional. But I knew how emotional Jeff was. I was actually trying to be strong for him because I figured if I got emotional, he'd get emotional, right? But I wasn't really sure how to handle it because Jeff's a tough guy, right? Like he's always been a tough guy, and I think he's been private. I don't think he wants everybody to know all of his business as far as what he deals with his health, because he is the number one kind of guy. He does not want anyone to feel sorry for him, and I don't even like coming on here and saying it that way, but he's one of them kind of guys that he doesn't need. He does not ever want anyone to feel sorry for him, and I respect him for that. But all I wanted to say getting out of here is, Jeff Lewis, you did good, man. What a phenomenal career. Certainly on the Mount Rushmore of human beings in my book. And I told him the other night he had 21 career wins at Ark-La-Tex. Obviously, we don't have Boot Hill Speedway history books to go back that far. He told me his first ever race was at Bayou Speedway, and when he was 16 years old. He's now 60. He's been racing for 44 years, Cortland. There's people that are involved in racing that you come, that come and go, or that you come and to love and that you respect. And I've never met anybody that didn't love or respect Jeff Lewis if they got to know him. And people from afar respect him. But Jeff Lewis had a great racing career. But again, man, and I'm not just saying this to blow sunshine. We celebrated his 60th birthday at Shane Seafood about 4 Sundays ago. And there was that whole party room was full of people, man. I think there was probably 100 people there that showed up for Jeff at 4:30 on a Sunday afternoon. Like it just speaks volume to the person that he is. And he had a great career. And that's what I want to say, Jeff Lewis. Really proud of you. And what a great guy. And I know that I could call him any time of day and he'd be there for me. But that's all I got as we wrap this podcast up. If you want to, I know you've probably raced with Jeff Lewis in the past. So if you have a memory of racing with him or anything, I'll let you mention that before we get out of here.
I just want to say Jeff Lewis, like you said, Zach, he's a real one, a racer to the bone, 44 years, been beating up and down the roads. I know his lovely wife, Stacy's been right there along his side. And, he definitely is, man. He was one of those guys that always made sure I was good. I'll just like Jeff, he means a lot to me. Old Nat loves Jeff Lewis as well. That my first recollections of Jeff, obviously going to Boot Hill and Ark-La-Tex when I was younger, but that old yellow and blue 40 would roll down to Leesville 171 Speedway and absolutely kick everybody's chicken in the factory stock. He come down there and won several times, and that was when I really got to know Jeff. Obviously, Neil standing for his son-in-law there. We go way back with my family and Neil, so I got to know Jeff pretty well, man, and just a stand-up dude, not only a phenomenal racer, but when you talk about truly one of the best dudes ever to probably walk this earth, that's Jeff Lewis. I mean, he is an absolute dude. I'm sad that I'm not going to see that yellow and blue 40 pull in every weekend anymore, but Jeff, you had a good ride, sir. We appreciate everything you've done for the sport, and I appreciate everything you still do for me, friend. You are a real one. And, I think, like he said, he went out on his terms. He pulled it up and hit the kill switch for one last time this past weekend. So thank you, Jeff Lewis.
Absolutely. Just want to mention one of the things he said in the text message he sent me. He said, maybe they will let me drive a wrecker or a track packer. He said, maybe even Steve Bogus. He said, maybe even Bogus will help me tech a night or two on the big shows. And he said, see you tonight. So it was a great night at Ark-La-Tex, and what a great career for you, Jeff Lewis. The old blue and yellow 40 car signing out. And that's all we got right here on episode number 87 here on Clark After Dark. Thank y'all so much for listening and hanging out with us here to the final whistle. He's Cortland Smith. I'm Zach Clark. We're both from the boot. We both love racing, and we'll see you back next week. Be blessed and be a blessing.
Later.